Welcome to our presentation for how to fulfill compliance rules in the fourth wave from GaiaDigits, talking about our system Gaia Workspace. It's going to be with me and Cheng Yi, the CEO. Next slide. So just a friendly reminder, just to make sure to keep yourself on mute during our presentation. If any time you are able to unmute yourself and you can ask some questions, or of course you can put into the chat box if you're unable to speak. And once again, thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Tina Hoffman. I'm the Senior Solution Manager for GaiaDigits.
Hey. My name is Cheng Yi. I'm the CEO and founder of the GaiaDigits. Because we don't have too many audience, I think it's something between formal and informal. I try to make the introduction simple and interactive. And if you are the member of the Windsor Essex Regional Chamber of Commerce, and you can enjoy the local affinity program discount for our program. And really thanks for the Windsor Essex local chambers support to organize the event. Okay, so GaiaDigits is a local Windsor-based local software company. It was set up in 2019. Yeah, it's a good time. It's also a bad time. Once we set up the company, the COVID comes, and it's really hard for the business. Not only for the business. It's almost hard for the employer and the employees. And let's focus to introduce our solutions and the benefits. So for example, once we talk about the workspace, it's very important to make sure the workspace is safe. That means you need to digitize your safety compliance rules and the process. So we have some features like the COVID screening, and then we have the vaccination test tracking in the daily basis. And we also ensure to you improve their workspace efficiency by the appointment, room, desk, and the facility booking. So my parts focus on the safety. And then once I introduce the safety parts, and I will hand over to Kiana. Okay, so if you look at the COVID is almost 2 years, and something good, something bad. The good is that the number is not very high, but the bad is the cases is still over there, and we face the fourth wave, and we don't know what will happen in the fourth wave. And once we manage the workspace, we need to pay attention to the employees' health. And that's not just related to employee, but also to employers and also to the business operation. So 6 months ago, I have a dialogue with a big construction company in Alberta. And the compliance manager called me and said, okay, we really need a digitized COVID compliance checking tools, because they found one case in one project. And then their customer called them back and said, yeah, that's one case. And the other competitors called them and said, they have some, automatic screening tools. They want to, to take the chance and guarantee the safety for the employees in every project. And then they try to use that opportunity to take over the business. Then we think about the safety compliance rules. It's not just about the employee safety, healthy, but also it's very important to your business operations. Okay, here is the standard, the compliance or screening questions based on the governments. And you can see there's a lot of the questionnaires. And if you go through this questionnaire by pen and paper, it's pretty hard, and it's very time consuming. you can also go for this way. That's something that you go through your websites, you handle every questionnaire by the mobile, and then you can receive, you can trigger the reminding emails, and you can summarize the results in the database, and you can visualize the results and find out the sensitive cases, and find out who is stay around him, and then suggest those people to take the quick test. Yep, this is the dashboard we have. So for example, we manage an organization with with a few sites. And if you click one people, and you can find out that here, this is his detailed the questionnaire and the feedbacks. And if you look at here, that's the the dashboard. For example, in this place, you have several hundred people reported healthy, and then some cases are not safe. For example, in the orange, some cases okay, some is pretty safe, whatever. So you can see the in the dashboard and get everything. For the visitor, mostly we use the pen and the papers, or you can print it out these questions from the government's websites, and ask them one by one, and then ask them to sign on the paper. Yeah, but once you ask them to sign on the paper, it's not safe because they use the pen, they use the paper, and then probably then it will carry the virus and spread anywhere. You also can use the modern ways to handle that. You can use our solution, just print it out, this QR code, and put at the entrance. And once the visitor came in, they scan this QR code, and then the questionnaire will jump out, and they can leave the name, contact information, screen themselves, and submit. We try to streamline the process to make this, the managers, spend less time to manage more staff. Finally, we have something, to manage their employees' vaccination and the testing results. Different provinces have different, their regulations. Most provinces, require the employers to track the vaccination records in your workplace. So you can manage their, the vaccination testing results, on the paper, or in the Excel, or in the other tools. But also you can just use our solution to track this information, digitized. For example, once you log in the system, the employee can find out that name, date, and then choose vaccine or testing, and then attach the certificates. The certificate should be PDF or JPG, or just the pictures, and then leave the remarks and say positive or negative or inconclusive. And then the manager can visualize the results for the whole organizations and see how many people get 2 shots, how many people just get 1 shot, how many people take the rapid test and the test results. And by these ways, we can make sure the workplace safe. Okay, so I almost finished my parts, and then I will hand over to Tiana. So Tiana.
Alrighty, thank you, Cheng. So a lot of times when it comes to challenges nowadays within work, we're looking at either being remote, in office, hybrid, regardless, there's still going to be some challenges we're going to face altogether. One of them is going to be connectivity. So one big thing with connectivity that we're going to be facing is going to be multiple booking conflicts. So of course, now with technology taking a large role into what we're doing on a daily basis, emailing, phone calls, etc., there's a very easy chance for us to be double booking maybe a meeting that we might have, especially because we now have the availability to be booking meetings with people across the world, so different time zones and everything, which can once again can have a lot of conflicts. So it's one big challenge we're facing. A second would be transitioning between in-person and virtual. So now that things are kind of opening up a bit, we're seeing people are doing both in-person and virtual meetings and trying to manage any sort of client meetings, for example, with either in-person, virtual. It's a little bit difficult maybe to know when you're going to be at home, when you're going to be in the office, when you're going to be at, you know, your closest Tim Hortons or Starbucks. It's a little bit difficult to know when that's going to happen. So being able to properly manage your time can be extremely important. Another thing we're going to see is a lot of chain emails. So it's going to be trying to book a meeting with someone. You're going to go back and forth a million times. You've got a million different emails with probably many different people trying to book those meetings. And obviously we're facing now a chain email where you got a bunch of chain emails with a bunch of different people trying to figure out exactly who and when you're meeting and etc. So it could be a little bit difficult, especially if you didn't put it into your Outlook calendar, send the invitation right away, etc., etc. Finally, the potential burnout with meetings. So obviously, jumping in and out of meetings virtually, going to in-person, there's a very high chance of people having a burnout and not being able to handle kind of everything that's going on at once. So not giving yourself the proper time dedicated to yourself and making sure that you're taking those breaks. So that's another really, really big challenge we're going to be facing. Next slide. Yeah. So best way we can kind of fix that is using something like our Gaia Workspace appointment. With that, you're able to record all of your meetings, that's past, future, and present, and syncing that along with your Outlook calendar. So this is being able to send, instead of having to just have any emails whatsoever about meetings, you could just send them a direct link, which is going to allow you to have multiple different scheduling, so you can input exactly when you want in person, when you want virtual, when you want your break times to prevent that burnout. You can also ensure that you're inputting there maybe some questions that you have with those people ahead of time. So there's questions that you can be added in ahead of time to know exactly maybe what's the whole reasoning for having that meeting and how long it's really going to end up taking you to begin with. And with that, you're sending a QR code, direct link, or access code. So it's extremely easy to have access to a specific calendar that you're sending to someone. Either way, it gives them a lot of opportunity. So another big challenge that we're going to face is going to be the physical office. So with the physical office, you're obviously going to be dealing with things such as the overhiring. So that's a big one that a lot of companies have faced recently. That's going to be because of COVID, everyone was working from home. Not many people were able to go into the office. Now with that change, more and more people are heading into the office again, and we got more people that want to do that. And unfortunately, with the physical office, maybe they downsize their commercial space. And when you downsize, maybe during COVID, or maybe you just didn't have enough space to begin with, that overhiring has prevented you from being able to have a lot of people coming into the building, into the physical office itself. Another challenge you're going to face is going to be deep engagement and efficient collaboration. So being able to ensure that you're having those meetings. So if you want to have a sales meeting, if you want to have a technical meeting, or whatever type of meeting you're really having, it's really nice to be able to do all of that in person and having that efficiency once again all together. But it's a little bit difficult to do so, obviously, if you don't know who's able to come in the office, if you are working a hybrid office model or etc. So having some sort of way to be able to manage all of that will make it very easy. So using something like a meeting room and desk booking feature from Gaia Workspace, you're able to add in multiple locations. So if you have multiple locations for offices or whatever it is, you have somewhere you can add all of that in there along with the visualized floor map. So you can see exactly where you're going to have those meetings. So it's easy for everyone to direct themselves to where they want to be. You can also set up those reoccurring meetings. So if you do have an opportunity where you have a lot of people going at the same time, you want to have that same meeting once a week, once a month, whatever it is, you can set up that reoccurring meeting and then invite all of the attendees to that meeting at the same time. So it makes it very, very easy to have that collaboration time. And then it's all going to record and manage your reservations in SunSpot as well. So if you want to make any changes at any time, you can do that straight inside the tool. So that concludes our webinar. Does anyone have any questions for us? Alrighty, thank you very much. At any time you'd like to contact us, we have our information on the page there. We are always available. Just send off an email, or you can check us out a little bit more on our website. And thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you. Bye-bye.